Hello, kids. Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd, and today is Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. And you can always reach me at TheFearlessFloydShow at yahoo.com. You can leave a comment below, hit that like, share, notification. And tonight's topic, we're going to discuss a traffic ticket. And as you may or may not know from my previous video, myself, I've had two citations dismissed. Well, actually, there's one citation with a failure to appear, got that dismissed. First time in court. I want to introduce you to Pastor of the Way. He had a traffic citation, did a particular filing that he may or may not delve into, and we're going to show you the just results of his efforts. And with that, do you want me to roll the video?
You sure can.
Okay, let me get to the video. All right. And here we go. I wish I could make this larger. Oh, yeah, I can. There we go. For those of you who didn't quite catch that, yeah, you rewind it, replay it. So I can slow the speed down. I'll pause it. You get a ticket in a DOT, Department of Transportation inspection. Price, 4 hours. You call the court and have a polite discussion. Price, 8 minutes of my time. Send the court a demand letter. Price, $32.70 in postage. Was that registered mail or Party Express?
Priority Express mail.
And as we roll, getting the traffic ticket sealed and dismissed, priceless. So there you have it. And let me show you the actual. This is a certificate of disposition. This is from the Queensbury Town Court criminal part. You see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
Criminal part.
Now,
So,
this document has some very interesting things. For all those that are in the know, they call it a Terry stop. They call it whatever they want. But look at that where it says date of arrest. The defendant was arrested. The body was not.
and this was your straw man, right? Your all capital name.
Absolutely.
As you see, this is all capitals. And of course, they have the technology to spell it correctly, but they didn't. Just let you know what's going on. You see everything up here is capitalized as well.
Mm-hmm.
So as we scroll down, you can see the people of the state of New York versus Pastor of the Way, defendant. And this is the case number, date of birth, which I blacked out. Date of arrest, 2/21/2022. So this happened, what, 5 weeks ago?
Yeah.
No arraignment date. This is to certify that the undersigned has examined the files of the Queensbury Town Court concerning the above entitled matter and finds the following. The original charge is, what is
It
it?
was a reverse light on my truck.
Okay.
The reverse light was out.
And you are a commercial driver, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So he And of course, your vehicle is registered with all that, right? You're not running DOT plates or private plates or anything on it.
No, not running any private plates, because this is where a lot of people in this movement that's trying to understand this stuff, you got to respect the government's rights. Government has certain rights, and you have to know your rights, and they will respect your rights. So I know, being a commercial driver, I'm operating in commerce, so I have to jump through certain hoops, get plates, get licensed, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So right here, ticket number, uh, position, charge description, I guess.
It's safety violation.
Safety
Yeah,
violation, which would be the light, and it was
yeah.
dismissed, and this was disposed of March 11th, 2022, which was two and a
Now, I
half.
can't I can't prove it, but I think they backdated that.
Yeah, that's 2.5 weeks ago. But, uh, you know, the courts will fudge stuff.
Now, if you look over on the left under that box, where it says sealed type,
Uh-huh.
okay,
Is this a statute code?
it's a criminal code.
So
Now,
pursuant to whatever, I guess New York Criminal Code, Section 160.50C, they sealed
I'm
it.
getting, I'm going to pull it up.
There you
I'm
go.
going to, I'm going to read a couple things.
Okay. And then, of course,
Uh,
it's the clerk. This isn't even signed by a judge.
no, the clerk has the authority in the interest of justice to do things.
It's the clerk's the bank, the banker.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
Now, it's just called order upon termination of criminal action in favor of the accused. So that tells you traffic stops are criminal. And it says in paragraph C, which is what they list there, all official records and papers, including judgments and orders of a court, but not including published court decisions or opinions or records and briefs on appeal. In other words, that not including that, that's because if you appealed the case, that's not the part that's going to be sealed, because you're going to the next court. So relating to the arrest or prosecution, including all duplicates and copies thereof on file with the Division of Criminal Justice Services, any court, policy, no, any court, police agency, or prosecutor's office shall be sealed and not made available to any person or public or private agency. So that means when they sealed this one, it can't go to a public agency, a private agency, or anyone else. None of the case filed, only the order.
Right?
And when have you ever heard of them sealing a traffic ticket?
Oh, that's unheard of. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So everybody's like, oh, well, what did he do? What did he do? I can hear y'all all now thinking that out loud. So let's reverse engineer this and walk slowly and as common language as we can so everybody can easily understand exactly what you did because obviously it
I'm
was
going to give some basics, not necessarily in detail what I did, because some things are out in the public, some things are not. Okay. And what I'm going to give you is verifiable information that you can easily go find. The stuff that is not so easy to find, I'm not going to discuss, because that means certain things are not going to be disclosed. And that requires private conversations. But Fearless Floyd, he's listened to the phone call, he's heard everything, and he can attest to this. But you need to know what's going on in the United States. If you go look up the congressional record of March 9th, 1933, okay? a lot of people are familiar with the phrase that they mortgaged all the homes and all the people or the people's property of the United States during the bankruptcy. Well, if the
Right.
government,
Let me
yeah,
pause it. So we threw that date out there, and what that date is when Congress enacted the Bankruptcy Act.
correct. That
So,
was the Banking Relief Act. Okay. So what they, when they mortgaged everything, they took away your ability to buy anything with gold and silver. Okay. Because if you go read the Constitution, you can only pay debts with gold and silver. Everything outside of that, you're never paying a debt. It's all negotiable instruments. Now, let's see. So when you when you get into that, okay, let's see if this is it. I was looking for it. June 12th. That's not it. I'm trying to find the congressional record. See, I don't never know where my mind's going to go.
right.
I start having all these data points, and it's like, oh, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this, and
Yep.
I just start going wherever. So now I know where I can find it at, because I want to read a certain specific section. And is that it right there? Okay. If you look up the congressional record of March 9th, 1933, it says under the expansion of currency necessary, and it says under the new law, the money is issued to the banks in return for government obligations, bills of exchange, drafts, notes, trade acceptances, and bankers' acceptances. The money will be worth 100 cents on the dollar because it is backed by the credit of the nation. It will represent a mortgage on all the homes and other property of all the nation, of all the people in the nation. Now, a lot of people have heard that in this community of people that study the law. Nobody ever pays attention to the next paragraph. It says the money so issued will not have 1 penny of gold coverage behind it. Now, I'm on spoiler alert. The government didn't get rid of the gold standard like we've been taught. So now let's continue reading. They said, because it's really not needed. We do not need gold to back our internal currency. We only need gold to settle our balances with foreign countries. So you know how everybody says we got rid of the gold backing? Well, yeah, they're right. But did we get rid of gold backing? No. Because why? They still need it to pay off debts to other countries. But what is a Federal Reserve note? It's an internal currency. It's not money. They say they call it money. It's just a form of exchange.
Yep.
So
And it's their money, so don't counterfeit.
Yeah. So I need to send you a truck driver story on that when you said don't counterfeit it, because this was in the news, and I didn't have nothing to do with this. I heard about it secondhand. A guy got charged. He was a truck driver. He got charged with counterfeiting, right? Mm-hmm. He took $5 bills. Now, don't nobody do this, because honestly, it's funny, the story, but you want to piss off the government? This will work. He took $5 bills, bleached them, reprinted them to look like $100 bills, and started spending them. He got charged with counterfeiting. The testimony in court is the reason why he never went to jail. Everybody that testified that he gave the money to testified he never said there was a $100 bill. He said, will you accept this negotiable instrument? And when they arrested him, he said, I don't do nothing no different than what y'all do.
Right.
They told him if he ever done it again, they'll throw away the key.
You didn't hear it here, kids.
I laughed you can tell that to me, that story's funny. Somebody
Mhm.
that knows how the system works, if you know the rules to the game, you can play the game.
You could beat the game. Yeah. Yep.
So, but no, back to what we were discussing.
Well,
So when they mortgaged everything, people think the name is yours. It's not yours. And I tell people, turn your social security card over on the back of it. What does it say? It says this card is property of the Social Security Administration and must be returned upon request. And people, well, yeah, you're supposed to return it if you lost. I said, that's not what it says, because read the next line down. If lost. So that tells you what? The name on the card is not you. The name on the card is the name of the trust. Everything that they are doing revolves around that trust. And this is where I'm starting to come to the conclusion the secured party creditor process is not necessarily needed. Because if the Social Security counts a trust, you don't own the name. Why are you accepting ownership? Now you're trespassing on the trustee's rights.
yeah, that's one avenue.
And see, I took that knowledge into this. When I made that phone call, I didn't file anything into the case, not a single stitch of paper.
A lot of people will be glad to know that.
I just called them up and I had a conversation where I confirmed some information that I had. And I said I needed to assess the tax and report this debt instrument to the IRS. Pull up 18 USC 8.
US 18.
18 USC 8.
Hang on. All right. 18 USC code 8.
Now, the term obligation or other security of the United States, okay, includes all bonds, certificates of indebtedness. Now, pay close attention. It's going to give you all these different types of currencies that are still out there. You can find them and collected. Now, certificates of indebtedness, that's stuff you can purchase from the Treasury. That's when you pay for a Treasury note, but you're only buying partial notes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so you got national bank currency, Federal Reserve notes, Federal Reserve bank notes, coupons. What is a coupon? A coupon is what's attached to the bottom of your bills.
Your statement.
United States, yeah, your statement. United States notes, Treasury notes, gold certificates, silver certificates, fractional notes, certificates of deposit. Wait a minute here. You go to the bank, said, I want to get a CD. A CD, that's a certificate of deposit. Oh, that's an obligation of the United States. Bills, your checks you write, drafts for money drawn by or upon authorized officers of the United States, stamps, and here's the key, other representatives of value. What is a traffic ticket?
It's a contract. It's representative value.
Any contract, whether there's money involved or not, is property. Now go back to what they mortgaged, all the other property of the people of the nation. Value isn't just about dollars and cents. Okay.
Now, I want to point something out to everybody else. To say right there, canceled United States stamps are the same thing as a Federal Reserve note.
Yep. See, they put stamps on the list, right? Stamps and other representatives of value, right?
Yep, right there.
When does a stamp become canceled? When it goes through the post office, or for those that know how to do it, when you sign across a stamp.
And this is
Because it's
actually when they cancel the stamp. That's called franking
mm-hmm,
because a gentleman, a very, very brilliant man, created the U.S. Postal Service, and his name was Benjamin Franklin. So when
mm-hmm.
they cancel a stamp, they call it franking. FYI for everybody.
Now, if for those out there that says a traffic ticket isn't a necessary, it isn't a representative of value. Well, why do the courts only care about the money? Why is it most of the traffic tickets, they will be more than happy to dismiss the case, just pay the cost? Because it's a negotiable instrument.
Yeah, they just want you to settle the case.
They want you to settle the debt.
Yeah, don't care how. Don't even care what you
And
do it with. You can do it with coffee beans.
yes, you can. I got a buddy of mine that I just met recently up in Minnesota. He has a bag of rice,
Ah,
and he said they won't even let him bring the bag of rice into court because they know what it is.
right.
See, dollars is just a unit of measurement. Look at a Federal Reserve note. Pull that cash out your pocket and look at it. What does it say on it? Federal Reserve note. A dollar is just a unit of measurement. Now,
Mhm.
what you need to do, what people need to realize is who they're doing business with. Now, being I'm a commercial driver, I learned how to find the contracts that the states have signed with the federal government to do what they're doing.
Mhm.
And I can tell you now, when they write you the ticket, that agency that's on the paper is not the agency that has the contract. Because why? The appellation of the name matters. Okay.
Mhm.
In this one, for example, you have let's see here. You have on top of the what's called a ticket, even though it's not, you have New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. Now, most people would not think any different. They wouldn't think anything on that. Okay. But on the contract, it is completely worded differently. Now, let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. Let me go back up. Let's see. January, February. Right there it is. So here is the corporation, the actual business that has the contract. And I'm not going to read their DUNS numbers off the top right out here. I'm just going to give you the name. So the ticket says New York State spelled out, Department of Motor Vehicles. But the legal name, if you study the UCC, the legal name matters. It is one word, NYS, or NIS, NYS, all capital letters, Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay.
Mhm.
And their services that they offer to the federal government is data collection and analysis. Wait a minute. What is, if this is a ticket, then why are they offering services called data collection and analysis? There's nothing, it's not the same entity. Now, the inspection report that they also did, the company or the fiction, legal fiction that has the name on top, it says New York State Police. But the actual company that has the contract is called New York Division of State Police. Totally different company. So that means what? These are a simulated legal process because they don't have a contract with the United States to do what they're doing. If it's a simulated legal process, what's the reason? They want your money because they need to do this stuff and the people remain ignorant because they are receiving millions of dollars in federal funds, at least 600 times more than what the state is giving them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, on this one document, it says they received 7.6 million. 6.45 of it
Mm-hmm.
came from the federal government. 1.14 was what the state shared. So guess what? They bond all these cases on the backside, traded on the municipal bond market, and then everybody says, oh, my 401k is doing so good in the bond market. Yeah, you're investing in your own slavery.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I don't think people realize, they don't want to know that.
Hey, the letter I sent to the court, because when they told me it was shared and dismissed, I said, can you please send the order to the address on file? Oh, I can't discuss that with you. You're going to have to go to a notary and confirm who you are.
What?
Yeah. And I said, okay, you'll have it out in the mail next week. I was in the post office filling out the stuff to send to the court to tell them I was the authorized representative of the estate and the registered agent. Now, the reason I need to backtrack, in the phone call when they asked if I was the name on the ticket, I said, ma'am, that name is owned by the United States, and the United States is the secured party in this matter. Why? Go back to the social. They own the name. It's not your name.
Right.
Okay. So knowing it's property of the United States, she said, now, if you don't think you are the authorized representative of the name, go get a magnifying glass. Pull out your social. Go get your personal checks. Look at the signature line under a very good magnifying glass. It says over and over and over, authorized representative.
That's micro printing, everybody.
On
That's
your social,
Mhm.
I've heard this, I've not verified it myself. A lady that just told us this the other day because she worked in an HR department of some big company.
Mhm.
She says the signature line on the Social Security card, she was told, actually says property of the United States. A friend of mine confirmed it on his. It does not say that on his. It says Social Security Administration over and over and over. And then
On the
on the Social Security card.
on the card. Mhm.
Yes.
I actually have mine scanned, so let me go look.
On the signature line.
Yeah, let me go look.
And then there's a micro printed border where it says United States of America Social Security Administration over and over and over surrounding the card.
A bunch of them. Boil that one up enough. Nope. Oh yeah, I can see from here that's microprint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But to be able to see what it is, I got to have a lot better camera.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can see it. Yeah, it says United States of America Social Security Administration, United States of America Social Security Administration. Yeah, hang
Yeah.
on. I'll pull it up. I'll blow this thing up anymore. Oh yeah, it's 250. It's 300, 400.
So it's not a signature line. Is they needed you to sign that, giving them permission to own it. On top of that, the name on the card isn't what you think.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah,
United
that
States of
right there.
America Social Security Administration. And you could tell right there that's not a solid line.
That's micro printing.
It absolutely is microprinting.
Mm-hmm. So they put everything in front of us. You just got to know to look.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go to court and you go to court, they are placing liens against the account. Now, what can you do with a lien? You can sell it, monetize it, securitize it, trade it. You can do whatever because it's a monetary value. So what happens? It goes into the municipal bond market. While I was at the post office, started to tell you this earlier, a lady walked up behind me and says, "Are you in line?" I said, "No, I'm finishing up my paperwork to send this paperwork to the court." And she says, "Oh, I worked for the court for about 40 years. I can imagine what that's like." I said, "Oh, you did?" I said, "Do you know about the bonds on the back side of the court?" And she says, "Oh, yes, I do." You should have seen how fast she ran out of that post office when I said, "Do you mind when I get my stuff mailed here in a minute? Can I pick your brain?" See what she knows. Her and her husband, I have never seen somebody get moving so fast to get out of there.
Oh yeah, they got somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Now it's my understanding you only get 10 Social Security cards in a lifetime.
Yep, you can get 10 BCs in a lifetime and 10 socials.
Well, actually, in Colorado, you can get more than 10 birth certificates.
Okay, that's in Colorado.
Exactly.
I've
Yeah.
never tested it on the birth certificate.
Uh-huh.
I've just heard rumors that if you get more than 5, they'll put you on a watch list.
I've hit the peak threshold here in Texas, and
You hit
actually got
10.
I got 10, and actually I ordered, I don't know, I've probably gotten more than 10, but I think when I was like ordering, my 15th, 16th, 17th, something like that, I got a phone call. It's like, hey, why you ordering these? You can't order more than 10. We're going to issue a refund. So they sent me a warrant.
They sent you a
Absolutely.
warrant.
A warrant. Yeah.
What was the value of that warrant? Because a
Um,
warrant, is just a check.
exactly. I can pop it up. I have it scanned somewhere.
Now, here's what people don't really equate. The one in vital records, or in some states they call it the long form birth certificate. That's not you. It's a registered organization. Nobody ever thinks nobody ever thinks about it. And what I mean by that is, why do you have two? And why is it the state only wants to see one? You have the birth record at the county, that the hospital filed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, based on my research and all the codes in pretty much every federal territory and 2/3 of all the states, you're being reported as a lost infant. Well, if you're a lost infant, that makes you a 14th Amendment citizen and a ward of the state, because now the government has to provide for all the necessities of that child for the rest of its life. Well, since they need to provide for the necessities, they have to create a bank account. They have to, and they create the long form birth certificate that everybody gets. That's a registered organization. It's a trust. And who are the trustees?
I'm sorry, I was digging for something. I wasn't paying
Oh,
attention.
you're fine.
Okay. This is my letter from Texas Health and Human Services.
Hmm.
Dear customer, enclosed is a warrant issued by the state of Texas at the request of the Texas Department of State Health Services. This is a refund of a fee for a service you requested from the Vital Statistic Unit, which was not utilized by our agency.
But
And it's,
and
go ahead.
now I want everybody to think about something. Everybody thinks of a warrant as a warrant for an arrest.
Uh-huh.
No, even a warrant for an arrest, it's a check. And all the courts have to do is deposit it once they got you in their possession, because you're put down as the debtor. You're the body that's representing the trust. Now, the analogy I give to people, just imagine, just everybody that's listening to this later says, well, you don't know my name. You're right, I don't. But just imagine your name is John Doe, and I create a trust and call it John Doe, and I make you the beneficiary of the trust. Is the trust you? No, it's not. Now, if you ask the government, and they say it, I don't know how many times every year, they call it the Social Security trust account.
Mm-hmm.
You contact the Social Security Administration and ask them, who's the beneficiary of this account number? They will unequivocally tell you, you are the beneficiary. Write them a letter. They will respond, you are the beneficiary. But they never tell you one key thing. You can you can type in to Google right now, SSA, SSA, uh, Board of Trustees, and you will get a link from the Social Security Administration website called Signatories of the Trustee Reports. It says the Board of Trustees currently consists of 6 members, 4 of whom automatically serve by virtue of their position in the federal government. These 4 are the first Secretary of the Treasury, who is the managing trustee, or what we call the first trustee, the Secretary of Labor. Now, why is the Secretary of Labor the second trustee? Everybody goes to work, they fill out a W-2 or a W-4, they fill out these documents, they put the name, they put the trust, they put the name, they put the social, and they put the address. Okay, and I ask, who's the employee? Well, I am. No, you're not. Under the 14th Amendment, a trust is a legal person. You're just the registered agent or authorized representative. That's why the Secretary of Labor is the second trustee. Now the third trustee, Secretary of Health and Human Services. Why? Because of all those lost infants that's been reported over the years, that goes to Title IV D and E funding for family court, child support, child protective services, foster care system, all of that stuff. That goes under Title IV of Social Security Act. So they're not robbing the Social Security accounts. They're making it profitable. They keeping the currency flowing.
Yeah. The current must flow.
Correct. But taking all of this knowledge basically is why I knew what to tell the clerk and how to handle it, because I had their business information.
Yeah.
You look like you're deep in thought.
I pulled up this warrant and I'm trying to edit it, and it's not allowing me to change the format.
Did
That's
you
all.
take it down to after you copied it? Did you take it down to the bank and deposit it?
Yes, I did.
See there, y'all. I told you a warrant is nothing more than a check.
Yeah, let me show that. There you go, folks. Texas Comptroller Public Accounts Treasury Warrant Number. And there it is right there. $66 pay to me right there.
Yep.
So next time you hear somebody, hey, we have a warrant for you, say, wait, can you bring it to me or can you take it to me so I can endorse it for you guys so we can settle
If
this
it's
matter?
That's right. Hey, you know, a lot of people, especially family court matters, they might get arrested on a civil case, right?
Mhm.
Do you know those warrants for arrest? I made the discovery, and it was in corpus juris secundum, that every one of those civil arrest warrants have to have a bond of adequate sureties attached to it for the injury or harm the defendant may incur due to the arrest. And a lot of people don't know that. If they try to do a civil arrest, okay, show me the bond. I need to know that it has the adequate sureties for the injuries I may sustain.
Well, it's the same thing with a criminal matter. They
Mm-hmm.
issue the GSA bonds for liability because they know, I mean, like 99% of the cases, well, here in Harris County, Texas, Houston, over 90% of all cases are plea bargain. However,
Mm-hmm.
because the imbeciles, the adults who come into those courtrooms or those administrative offices,
Mm-hmm.
come in belligerent or come in and clearly state to the court, I'm mentally incompetent to handle my own affairs, so you need to appoint some clown to speak for me and think for me and act for me because I don't know how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
or I need to go hire one, pay for one to represent me. So they already know you're going to come in belligerent. So
Yeah.
that's already a liability because you're not coming in honor, good faith, and with clean hands to settle the matter commercially. Because
Well, here.
what's going on in courts is a commercial matter under civil rules and procedure, whatever they're masquerading it as family, probate, civil, criminal, none of that matters. It's all commercial. Doesn't matter what it is.
Look, most people have heard that the United States is a federal corporation, and you can look it up under 28 USC 3002, paragraph 15A. It says the United States is a federal corporation, right?
Absolutely.
But what you don't realize is why they put that in that spot. What is Title 28? Title 28 is the Judiciary Act. Now, Chapter 176. Now, before I get into what Chapter 176 is, let's think about something. People have tried to use the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act on IRS cases, but you can't. But do they know why you can't? Most people cannot. They don't know why. And it's because the 14th Amendment says you cannot argue the public debt, right? But nobody brings up Chapter 176 in Title 28. It's the Fair Debt Collection Procedures Act. These are the rules the judges are supposed to follow because every court case is a debt collection. So start studying sections 3001 through 3308 of Title 28.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to recommend to everybody. There's a publisher called O'Connor's. They just happen to be here in Houston, Texas. But you
Yeah.
can go on websites and, by all means, this is not an endorsement. I do not promote products or whatever. Um, A books. You can go on there and pick up a United States Codes book with Title 28 in it. Or, it doesn't have to be brand new. It can be a couple years old. But most of those statutes, they've been static for decades. You can pick you up one, $5, $10. It's a great reference, a great tool to sit there and read, so you don't have to always look at your computer screen. Great reference and
Mm-hmm.
go out.
Well, having a book is a good thing because you can make notes.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
own the book.
Yeah, and with O'Connor's, you can actually buy a teacher's edition, a student's edition, or a lawyer's edition. They have three different ones. And they're actually the textbooks that they use here at the Southwest College of Law here in Houston Law School.
You know, some of the other best things you can do. There's a lot of people in the movement that have this mindset of I should never have to do business with the fiction, right? And I tell people, I say, okay, who instituted government?
Yeah, the
If you
people.
believe in the Bible, it says God instituted government. Okay, now let's say you don't believe in the Bible. Okay, fine. It's still there by nature because every tribe, the strong rises to the top to protect the tribe and they become the governmental structure. Okay. So that means it's either there by God or it's there by nature. If you're not going to do things proper and in order with the government, then you are fighting against God or you're fighting against nature. So why not read their stuff? They tell you everything.
Oh yeah. When I was in prison, I used to. There was a organization in Austin that provided free books to prisoners, and the publications that they got was from the County and District Attorneys Association of Texas. So you could actually request and get like the penal code or the code of criminal procedure, and it was the book that the county and the district attorneys used as their Bible to practice their field of law. And I thought, hey man, this is cool as shit. I got their book, so I'm going right up against them.
Mm-hmm.
I already know what they're going to throw at me because I have the book.
Now, do you know why they try to go after someone for practicing law without a license?
Competition.
Competition for one, but think about it. A lot of people never read and studied the Constitution. The government puts out a publication called the United States Constitution with Analysis and Interpretation. It's 2,800 pages. It's free, but nobody reads it. So they don't know how government works. They don't know how this system we talk about that we hold so high as we have these great rights and freedoms. They don't even know what they are, and they don't even know what the Constitution means. So each article, you got Article 1, which is legislative, Article 2, which is executive, and Article 3, which is judiciary. Each article has its own courts. Okay.
Mhm.
Article 3 has original jurisdiction, but it has the jurisdiction over admiralty and equity also because of original jurisdiction. But it didn't create admiralty. Admiralty goes under the legislative branch. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 9, and Clause 17 says what? You got Article 1, Section 10, the contract clause. You got Article 1, Section 8, Clause 9 and 17 that says they can create inferior tribunals. So they created a contract court. There's a great video that Anton Scalia was having a conversation with Congress about the role of the United States Supreme Court. Now, if you're not aware of the law, you may not catch what he says. He says that the United States Supreme Court only has appellate jurisdiction. Wait a minute. That tells you right there it's not an Article 3 court. That means it's got to be an Article 1 court under the Judiciary Act, because you also have the Supreme Court of the United States, which has original jurisdiction. Okay?
Mhm.
Now, so you have two different Supreme Courts. One only has appellate jurisdiction over all the other districts that were created. So the reason for the bar ultimately boils down to this. Article 1, Section 10. The government hired the bar, a private institution, to help negotiate contracts. All they need you to do is play the part of the dummy
Hmm.
to agree to the terms of the contracts. Doesn't matter what type of case it is, family law, traffic, criminal, it don't matter.
Yep. That's what they're looking for. They want the most valuable asset you own,
And that's the name.
your signature. Your signature creates the energy. It
Mm-hmm.
creates it creates the monetary existence of the security instrument. It creates
Mm-hmm.
cash flow.
Yes, it does.
So and I get a lot of people calling me about foreclosures. And for God's sakes, anybody who's getting ready to go buy some real estate, or if you're going to go buy a car, contract, anything you're signing a contract with as an agreement to make a payment, and you've got to put the right verbiage on that. You need to get a receipt for it, especially for a mortgage. That promissory note, as soon as you sign it, you paid for the house or the property, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Yeah. When you signed the power of attorney, you gave them permission to use the name. That's the reason they want the social,
Yep.
because it's the name on the social, to create the trust, because they call it a deed of trust. They put it into a trust, an investment trust. They use your name by your permission
Yep.
to create accounts. Now, there's a reason why at the end of the mortgage, at the maturity date, which is 30 years, they don't collect on those accounts immediately. They have to wait for at least 3 years. Some states it might be 5, some states it might be 3. But then the mortgage company comes around, since you never, as the undisclosed third party investor, never claimed the accounts, they turn around and fill out a 1099A for abandoned property.
Yep. And you know why they're 30-year loans? Because that was your life
Mm,
expectancy back then when they created all that.
Yeah.
It's it
Let's
all.
see.
This all goes back to insurance.
Now, who insured all the mortgages? The U.S. Department of Agriculture. You remember the banker bailouts? They wasn't bailouts. They were insurance payments because all the mortgages were insured. Everybody got mad because of the banker bailouts, but the government lets you remain ignorant because they wasn't bailouts. It was the USDA paying its insurance for the mortgages that they purposely collapsed. Now, you brought up foreclosure, and I just read it last night in chapter 176 that foreclosures are listed in there.
Yeah, yeah, that's a racket. It's fraud. Everybody's committing fraud when you do a real estate transaction.
I don't
Everybody.
like the term. I don't like the term fraud, and here's why. It's not really fraudulent if they publish everything. It's the ignorance of the people and their refusal to learn. I may be an ordained minister. I am an ordained minister. I've got my ordination credentials and everything. It's legal in 168 countries. But I'm not one of those pastors that's so legalistic that I'm afraid to say things and I walk on eggshells. And I will call it like I see it. We as men, we failed our women. Why? We got out of high school. Yes, we had a education, more like an indoctrination. But did we care to get out of school? When we got out of school, did we care to continue to learn? No. We were too busy chasing pussy than caring about what our rights were. And now that once we've got in the situation we're in, we point the finger at government and say corruption, fraud, criminals, treason. 99.9% of everything the government does is according to the Constitution. The problem is you, the people, don't know the documents you say you believe in.
Yeah, yeah. All those pledge of allegiances you did to in elementary school, the flag of the United States of America. You don't even know what the hell you're pledging allegiance to.
Well, here's something. Talk about the Second Amendment discussion, right?
Well,
There, right now, the big story is some state, I think it might have been Washington, passed 3 laws and everybody's screaming violation of the Second Amendment.
right.
What's the strongest amendment in the Constitution? Or the strongest part of the Constitution that is the most dangerous?
Most dangerous context.
As in, what is the one right government has, the federal government, exclusive of everything else? The Commerce Clause.
Okay. Yeah.
It is the most argued clause in courts out of every other subject. Okay.
I didn't know that.
They've had more cases argued in court over the Commerce Clause than anything else. Okay. And the reason I bring that up is when we were a free country, we made things in our communities. We had a blacksmith that would make the rifle barrel. We would build our weapons in our communities, right? And then somewhere about 1890-ish, we let corporations start building them. And then what happened? They fell into commerce. Because what was the role of the Commerce Clause? To make sure all the states played fair. Because what are states? Sovereign countries. So we let Remington in the state of New York make the guns and cross state lines, which put them into commerce. Now the federal government can regulate them into oblivion if they want. But why do you think they want to get rid of ghost guns? Because ghost guns are protected by the Second Amendment because you make them in your home. Why do you think they went all to pieces over 3D printing guns? Because you could make it in your home. It's protected by the Second Amendment.
Oh yeah, they put that guy in prison who created that machine and the
Mm-hmm.
blueprint. Oh yeah.
I
Oh
did
yeah.
not know that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Why?
yeah.
What was their excuse for putting him in prison?
Oh God, I don't even
What
remember.
crime did he actually violate?
Um, I can't remember if it was. I don't even think it was anything to do with the gun. But if I remember correctly, it was either being with an underage girl or a sexual assault. It wasn't even related to that.
So they did something. They probably just set something up
Yeah,
just to put him
absolutely.
away.
Oh
Look
yeah.
at Irwin Schiff. They did the same thing with Irwin Schiff
Yeah.
for publishing a book, and he died in prison. Thought you had a First Amendment.
Yep. Yep. That was in. That guy was from Texas.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember where. Seems like somewhere around San Antonio, west of San Antonio, if I remember correctly. God, I haven't thought of that guy in a minute until you brought that up. Yeah, yeah, they'll come get you. They'll hide you.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah. But what it boils down to is they want to keep control. And as long as they can keep you on their commerce bandwagon, they have control.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
Uh,
any thoughts, any questions?
I don't have. Oh my God! Somebody sent me some EIN numbers.
Yeah,
No.
there is a lot of power in those EIN numbers. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know how many he sent me, but it's a PDF.
I think I got that PDF. It's 72 pages, I think it is.
It may be.
Let's see here. I just got it the other day. Let's see. Where'd I put it? I put it.
Yeah. And this becomes the problem, folks. We get so much information that we put it in a file and then we can't find the file we put it in or with the
Are you
title
talking
of it.
about the federal contact and program information?
No, it doesn't have a title to it. It
Well, I
just
know this thing
has a red
is
line at the
80s.
top.
Okay, then I
And
don't know that one.
it has financial institution, the address, and the EIN. And let's see. There's 16 and 60. I don't know why it's not scrolling down. Old fashioned way. 60 pages.
Yeah, then I don't have that one.
Yeah, and it goes like from this is probably not the first, like First National Bank all the way down
Oh,
through
yeah.
alphabets to
I
Zona
did
Car
get
Company.
I did get that one today.
Okay.
Yes, I actually did.
Yeah. I'm sure it's incomplete, but somebody probably put this together. And thumbs up to you, whoever did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a guy who, man, he sends me just tons of stuff. Some of it, I just don't have time to open it and read it. It's just
The
it speaks
EINs,
volumes.
the EINs,
Mhm.
the EINs is where the power's at.
Oh yeah,
And it's not necessarily if you have one or not. It's knowing whether or not they have one and who they are.
Yep. And it's hard to get them from some of these places.
Yeah, it is.
They'll fight you tooth and nail.
And what it is it boils down to reporting the taxes. They're not reporting the taxes.
Oh.
Now,
No, no. Go
you
ahead.
remember we were talking about the coupons earlier, right?
Mhm.
So I went to Black's Law Dictionary and I looked up the definition of coupon.
Mhm.
A coupon is an interest or dividend certificate that is attached to another instrument. Now put that another instrument on the back of your mind and just tuck it away for the moment, because we're going to see what that another instrument is. Such as a bond. Now they say in the definition, such as a bond, that is a phrase as in an example of what it would be attached to. And that they may be detached and separately presented for payment of a definite sum at a specified time. Now, what do they call that thing on the bottom of your bill? A payment coupon, right?
Mhm.
Now, here's a statement of account. Here is your another instrument. The first definition, a report issued periodically, usually monthly, by a bank to a customer, provided certain information in the customer's account, including the checks drawn and cleared, deposits made, charges debited, and the account balance, also termed bank statement.
All right.
Now, the second definition is a little bit eye-opening here. A report issued periodically, usually monthly, by a creditor to a customer, providing certain information on the customer's account, including the amounts billed, credits given, and the balance due, also termed account statement. Now, you remember earlier when we said they wanted the currency to flow?
Right. Yeah.
They want you to tear off that coupon, voluntarily send it back to the company, and send them the payment. Now go look at the tax return of these big corporations. When they get a $1.2 billion tax return, it's not really a tax return. Everybody's been voluntarily sending those coupons back. All they turn around and do is send them to the Treasury and get paid, because remember, under HJR 192, wasn't all the debts prepaid?
Yep. Exempt without levy.
Yep. So what do? They send the coupons to the Treasury. They report it as a tax return. There goes the other side of the ledger. You paid one side, Treasury paid the other side.
Yeah, and you double or triple paid them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But they want that currency to flow, because if you're not making your payments and they're only going to the Treasury, the books would actually get balanced. The debt would be paid off, but the
Mhm.
currency wouldn't flow.
Through the banks.
Long as the currency flows, because we're not balancing our own personal books, the Federal Reserve won't go nowhere.
Yeah. It's crazy.
As long as the government knows that you're going to continue to need the services by your actions, they won't change the system.
No.
Most of the people out there think they want everything for free, and they're really just a bunch of heathens. Because why? Free goes against nature. There's nothing free.
Oh yeah, there is prison.
It still ain't free.
Oh
It costs
no,
you something.
well, but everything's free in there, Some of those guys go there to get rescued
But
from the
yeah,
streets, the
from the
mean streets.
streets.
Oh yeah,
But it still costs you something.
yeah. But for them, when you have nothing to lose, doesn't cost you anything.
Well, I guess that's one way to look at it.
Well, it's not my way of looking at it, but I have experienced people who have that type of
Hey,
thought
so,
process.
some people will defend their slavery.
Yeah. Well, it's really this is how mind warped society is in general, not everybody. That in prison, prisoners call outside society the free world. Okay. But people on the outside in the free world call the prisoners paying a debt to society. When actuality, it's the reverse. Everything in prison's free. You get free housing, you get free bed, free laundry, free food, free haircuts, free health care, free dental, free vision, free library, free
Yeah,
cable,
yeah.
free games, free gym. I mean, should I just go
But
on and
now,
on?
but now think about this: minimum basic income. And what is the World Economic Forum saying? You'll own nothing and be happy. I
Hmm.
mean, minimum basic income. In other words, the government will give you all of this stuff for free. Wait a minute, that sounds kind of like prison, don't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Prison Planet. Yeah. Hell
Yep.
on earth.
Now that's the one thing I will say about Alex Jones that he got right is definitely becoming a prison planet.
Yeah. Yeah. They always say, we're just going to throw a fence around Texas and just, confine everybody.
So now, do you have any, after all this conversation I've had, since I've pretty much ruled the roost on the conversation side, do
Oh,
you
that's
have
what
any
you're here for.
questions?
That's what you're here for. Okay. They hear me pontificate and, 24/7. And actually, I did a video earlier. I went to a 2023 Corvette Z06 promotion at a local dealership.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen the new Z06, but you want to talk
Yeah,
about a
it's it's
badass car.
nice.
Oh,
It
yeah.
showed up on it showed up on my recommended videos for YouTube a couple months back. I'm like, that thing is stout.
I saw one in person and got the whole walkthrough with the General Motors representative, not one of the salesmen. And
But it
he,
wouldn't let you sit in the seat and drive it,
oh
would he?
no, no, no. Well, you couldn't drive it, but you could sit in it. You open the trunk and the boot lid, which would be the hood.
Did you ask
Yeah,
him if he takes a rubber check?
nah, no, I didn't do that.
Hey, a rubber check is still a negotiable instrument.
Yeah, it is. As long as it has a routing number and account number on it, your signature, it's good to go.
It's an
You actually,
obligation of the United States.
yeah, I mean, you could write it on a piece of toilet paper. Well, actually,
Hey, one of the best freaking habeas corpuses were wrote on toilet paper.
shit, one of the best lawsuits in Texas was written on toilet paper. Ruiz versus Estelle.
Hmm. No
Yeah.
matter what you write it on.
No, me personally, and I used to have these, but I don't have them anymore. Uh, because I was so suppressed because of what I was doing, my legal adventures, I literally wrote a motion to the United States Supreme Court on toilet paper roll wrappers. I said it
Wow.
good. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who've never been in the Supreme Court, whenever you file a document in the Supreme Court, your physical instrument goes through a chemical. And when it comes out, your your white paper will be kind of a yellowish, brownish tint to it. So the court knows that it actually got filed in the United States Supreme Court. So when they send it back, it'll have that tint to it. So for all of you who think you filed in the United States Supreme Court, there's a fact.
Did your yellow toilet paper wrapper have that yellow tint to it?
It was a different texture. The tint wasn't, I mean, you really couldn't tell. But with regular, note
With
printing paper,
regular printer
copy
paper,
paper,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely you can tell. And the better the paper, the more you can tell. But yeah, that's what they do in the United States Supreme Court. Of course, they file stamp it as well, but that's easily forgeable. But apparently,
I can
the
I can
chemical.
only imagine you filed it on toilet paper wrapping, sent it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court stamped it as filed and sent the wrapping back to you. That
Yes.
tells you it doesn't matter what you write it on.
No. No.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and that was they actually sent me my carbon with actual real old school carbon paper, my carbon copies, real CC carbon copies. Yeah. That's why I kind of tell you guys, there's nothing. I mean, I've yet to find somebody to say, "Hey, Floyd, have you done this?" I'm like, yeah, been there, did that. Sometimes once,
Hmm.
twice, three times. It's just, yeah, I've been through the ringer with everything. If I get time, I want to start going pull up some of these cases that I either personally filed and litigated or litigated for somebody else just to show you guys the absolute 100% pure corruption in black and white. And it's astonishing, jaw dropping, what these courts will do to deviate from providing you with relief. Doesn't matter
I
whether you're black
actually
or white.
I actually helped another driver one time on a careless and reckless charge. The DA threatened to have me arrested for practicing law without a license. I stood toe to toe with him. Did I ever get in the courtroom? No. They took us into a private room and had our negotiation. They tried to set me up to try to accept their offers. Didn't work. But eventually they backed down and they freaking dropped the careless and reckless with the guy and said, "Oh, okay, this is what we'll do. Will you accept it?" They dropped it to a improper lane change and pay the court cost. That's why I say all they care about is the freaking money. And the guy was ecstatic. He said if I hadn't have been there with him, he'd have got railroaded because he didn't know nothing.
Hey, I've got to end this call. I'd like to continue, but for tonight, I have to wrap it up. I want to thank you for being on the show. You're more than welcome to come back and we can discuss any other topic at any other time. Uh,
Anytime you want.
yeah, absolutely. If y'all have any questions, leave them in the comment below. As always, you can reach me at TheFearlessFloydShow at yahoo.com. And you can actually go on my Telegram group and hit Pastor of the Way up with a question, and I'm sure he will be more gracious and reply directly to you. Hit that like button, subscribe, notification, share the video. Thank you for attending. I appreciate you again being a co host for this video. And thank you very much. And everybody, have a good night.
You have a good night, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.